10 years ago, my ex-husband, Magnus, said something really hurtful to me. He regretted marrying me because of my age. He thought younger women were better. He even said he was embarrassed to be seen with me. It was like he wished he could go back in time and choose someone else. My name is Linnea, and I'm 45 years old. When I was 30, I married Magnus, who is 5 years younger than me. We met at the hospital where I work as a nurse. Magnus had just finished his medical training, and he often came to me for advice. Despite our age difference and different jobs, I'm a nurse, he's a doctor, we fell in love. We talked every day and eventually started dating. I was worried about the age gap at first, but Magnus didn't seem to care. After 2 years, we got married. Everything seemed fine until after 5 years of marriage, Magnus started saying mean things to me. He said he should have married someone younger. He even flirted with younger nurses at the hospital. I tried to ignore it, but one day, I found out he was cheating on me with a woman 10 years younger than me. When I confronted him, he laughed and said, "With an older woman like you, it's unlikely we'll ever have children. She's already carrying my child." I couldn't stay with him after that, so we got a divorce. I asked for alimony, but Magnus was furious. He said awful things, claiming he deserved a reward for putting up with me. Even his father didn't seem to care about what Magnus did. He just said it's normal for young men to like younger women. I couldn't believe it. Magnus refused to pay any money, so I had to get a lawyer. It was hard, but I knew I deserved alimony. Finally, with the lawyer's help, I got what I deserved. After the divorce, I moved out of the apartment we shared and started living alone. Magnus changed hospitals, but not before insulting me one last time. He said he was done with hospitals like the one I worked in. He moved on with his affair partner, and I heard they got married quickly. But leaving the hospital where I worked was tough. People whispered about me being abandoned by a younger man because of his infidelity. I felt like everyone was judging me. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore, so I left the hospital and started drifting aimlessly. After some time, I realized I missed working. I loved helping people and being active. So, I found a new job at a small maternity clinic nearby. Despite the minimal staff, it felt welcoming and I felt appreciated. But just as things started to look up, a pregnant woman came in and a woman referred from another hospital arrived, and when I heard her name, I froze. It was the same name as Magnus' affair partner. Although it could be a coincidence, I confirmed her husband's name was Magnus, and he was a doctor. It was undeniable. She was my ex-husband's new wife. Meeting her at my workplace was unexpected. I struggled with what to do. Revealing Magnus' affair to others felt wrong, so I kept quiet. Days passed, and I couldn't bring myself to speak about it. Then one day, Magnus and his wife came for a checkup. Magnus looked surprised to see me, and I didn't want to confront him again, especially not at work. He accused me of harassing them, which wasn't true. I tried to explain, but he wouldn't listen. He accused me of being opportunistic and trying to cause trouble. Everyone in the examination room heard, and their judgmental stares made me uncomfortable. Despite Magnus' wrongdoing, I was the one feeling judged. Magnus' wife played the victim, claiming she was scared of me. It was absurd, but I was asked to leave the room to defuse the situation. I understood, but it made me feel miserable. Now, my private divorce details were known to everyone, and I felt even more judged. Magnus' wife continued to badmouth me, even though everyone knew I wasn't at fault. It became unbearable, especially knowing she was carrying an important pregnancy. Balancing her need for comfort and privacy left everyone speechless. I couldn't bear to stay in that environment, so I resigned from the hospital. Despite feeling relieved, I wondered why I had to endure such treatment. Exhausted, I returned to my parents' home, where they welcomed me without judgment. At first, I struggled with guilt, but I eventually found a part-time job at a nearby supermarket. It was refreshing to work outside of a hospital, away from the constant pressure. Living away from that environment was good for my mental well-being. I wanted to manage on my own, so I tried to avoid burdening my parents. Eventually, I was offered a full-time position at the supermarket, and I gladly accepted. For years, I focused on my work and had no interest in remarrying, despite matchmaking proposals. Now, at 42 years old, I declined any arranged marriage proposals. I was content with my life, focusing on my job and my well-being. The manager persisted, insisting the potential partner was also 44 years old, divorced like me, and faced infidelity in their past, similar to my situation. Despite my initial refusal, I ended up agreeing to the arranged meeting. Since we were both older, we decided to meet directly without intermediaries. When I arrived at the designated restaurant, my matchmaking partner, Gustav, was already there. As I entered, he suddenly stood up, knocking over his chair. His face turned bright red, and I couldn't help but laugh. It felt like something out of a novel. After the initial mishap, we quickly became comfortable with each other. I learned that Gustav had visited our supermarket during a business trip and had fallen for me at first sight. He had convinced the department manager to arrange this meeting. Interestingly, the department manager turned out to be Gustav's senior from university. "I'd like to pursue a serious relationship if possible," Gustav said. I had come prepared to decline, but I found myself wanting to see him again. After 3 months of dating, we decided to get married. My parents liked Gustav's personality, and they were genuinely happy for us. Our life together, filled with Gustav's care and consideration, was truly blissful. Since we were both older, we didn't plan to have children from the start. But when I turned 45, my health took an unexpected turn. I was pregnant. I never imagined I'd be pregnant at this age, and I certainly didn't think my discomfort was morning sickness. When I told Gustav, he was stunned. "That's wonderful. So, who's pregnant?" he asked. "Yeah, I think you know her very well. She's right in front of you," I replied, pointing to myself. Gustav looked bewildered, staring at my belly. "I'm the one who's pregnant," I clarified. His silence spoke volumes, but then he exclaimed, "Wow, it's a miracle." His unexpected reaction filled me with joy. However, as reality sank in, doubts crept in. Advanced maternal age carried risks for both mother and child. People might question how old we'd be when our child turned 30. The uncertainty of parenting at this age worried me. But Gustav's immediate response reassured me. "Of course, it's natural," he said, hugging me tightly. His support gave me the confidence to embrace this unexpected journey into parenthood. I believed Gustav's concern for my health was genuine. However, as my pregnancy progressed, his worries intensified. We discussed the potential challenges thoroughly, but our desire to have the baby remained unchanged. With the doctor's guidance, we began preparations for the birth. Both our parents were surprised and concerned, but they were genuinely thrilled about the upcoming addition to our family. It was decided that I would give birth at a well-equipped hospital. The obstetrician was caring and competent, which reassured us. During one of the prenatal checkup days, Gustav couldn't make it due to urgent work. To my surprise, my ex-husband, Magnus, was there instead. Encountering him again in such a place felt surreal. Magnus couldn't contain his disbelief. "You're a 45-year-old pregnant woman. It's impossible to give birth at your age," he laughed. His hurtful words stunned both the obstetrician and the nurse. Despite my protests, Magnus continued his tirade, even suggesting that I should leave the hospital. Just as things seemed to escalate, Gustav walked in. Sensing the tension, he asked what was wrong. When he realized that Magnus was my ex-husband, his expression changed. "You insulted my wife?" Gustav's tone was sharp, and he demanded an explanation. Magnus tried to backtrack, but it was too late. Gustav was appalled by his behavior and expressed his disbelief that a doctor could say such things. The situation escalated further when the hospital director intervened. Mr. Taylor, the director, was deeply apologetic for the incident. He assured us that the disrespectful doctor would be fired immediately. Despite Magnus' protests, the director stood firm in his decision. Gustav and I left the hospital, feeling both relieved and disturbed by the encounter. In the aftermath, Gustav's support never wavered. His protectiveness over me and our unborn child only strengthened our bond. And as we navigated the challenges of pregnancy together, I felt grateful to have him by my side. The director's words echoed through the hallway, commanding Magnus to leave and never return to the hospital. Despite his protests, the obstetrician firmly escorted him out. The director apologized profusely, and we resumed our seats, albeit still shaken by the encounter. Gustav, however, remained visibly angry. Why was he kicked out? Was it because my father donated to this hospital?
Gustav demanded.
The director clarified that Magnus had only been at the hospital for a week and that his father's connection played no role in the decision. He expressed genuine regret, emphasizing that not all doctors at the hospital shared Magnus' behavior. I chimed in, expressing my confidence in the obstetrician in charge despite Magnus' presence earlier. Gustav agreed, mentioning his family's history of supporting the hospital due to his mother's past care there. His father's generosity had led to recommendations for my delivery there. A few days later, Magnus reached out to me, begging for help to get his job back. I was taken aback by his audacity, considering his history of arrogance and mistreatment of patients. Gustav, who was with me, intervened, threatening to involve the authorities if Magnus ever contacted me again. Months later, I stumbled upon Magnus working at a convenience store, a far cry from his previous profession. Despite his tearful pleas about losing his family, I felt no sympathy. I chose to steer clear of the store, wanting no reminder of the past. The following year, I welcomed a healthy baby girl into the world. She brought immense joy and a renewed sense of purpose into our lives. Gustav's adoration for her was palpable, solidifying his role as a loving father. Reflecting on our journey, I vowed to raise our daughter with love and responsibility, regardless of past hardships. Gustav's unwavering support and our newfound family brought me solace and hope for the future. After the birth of our daughter, life took on a new rhythm filled with sleepless nights, endless diaper changes, and the overwhelming love that comes with parenthood. Gustav and I embraced our roles as parents with gusto, cherishing every moment with our little bundle of joy. As our daughter grew, so did our bond as a family. We celebrated her milestones, her first smile, her first words, her first steps, with sheer delight. Gustav was an active and doting father, always eager to spend time with our daughter, playing games, reading stories, and showering her with affection. Despite the challenges of balancing work and parenthood, we found joy in our family moments. We took weekend trips to the park, enjoyed picnics in the backyard, and cuddled together during movie nights. Our daughter became the center of our universe, filling our lives with laughter and love. As she grew older, we made sure to instill in her the values of kindness, compassion, and resilience. We encouraged her to pursue her passions, chase her dreams, and never give up, no matter the obstacles she faced. We wanted her to grow into a confident, independent, and empathetic individual, ready to take on the world. Through it all, Gustav and I leaned on each other for support, navigating the ups and downs of parenthood together. We faced challenges head-on, tackled parenting dilemmas as a team, and cherished the moments of pure joy and laughter that filled our days. Our daughter brought us closer together, strengthening our bond and deepening our love for each other. She was the light of our lives, the embodiment of our love, and the greatest blessing we could ever ask for. As our daughter grew into a young woman, Ready to spread her wings and embark on her own journey, Gustav and I watched with pride and admiration. We knew that no matter where life took her, she would always carry with her the love and support of her family. And as we looked back on our journey, from the tumultuous past filled with heartache and pain to the beautiful present brimming with love and happiness, we realized that every twist and turn had led us to this moment, this perfect little family we had created together. And so, we embraced the future with open arms, ready to face whatever challenges and adventures lay ahead, knowing that as long as we had each other, we could weather any storm, overcome any obstacle, and find joy in the simple moments that made life truly worth living. As our daughter continued to grow, she blossomed into a bright and curious child, eager to explore the world around her. We encouraged her curiosity, taking her on adventures to museums, parks, and nature reserves, where she could learn and discover new things. Her laughter filled our home, bringing warmth and joy to our hearts. We cherished our family dinners, where we shared stories, laughter, and love. Our home was a sanctuary filled with love, laughter, and the comforting presence of each other. As our daughter entered school, we supported her every step of the way, cheering her on as she tackled new challenges and pursued her passions. We attended school events, volunteered in her classroom, and helped her with her homework, ensuring that she had the support and encouragement she needed to succeed. She excelled academically, but more importantly, she developed a kind and compassionate heart, always ready to lend a helping hand to those in need. She made friends easily, spreading kindness and joy wherever she went. As she grew older, she became more independent, spreading her wings and exploring her interests. She joined clubs, participated in sports, and pursued her hobbies with passion and dedication. We watched with pride as she blossomed into a confident and capable young woman, ready to take on the world. Through it all, Gustav and I remained steadfast in our love and commitment to each other and our family. We faced challenges together, celebrated victories together, and leaned on each other for support during the tough times. Our love had grown stronger with each passing day, weathering the storms of life and emerging even stronger on the other side. We knew that no matter what the future held, as long as we had each other, we could overcome anything. And as our daughter embarked on her own journey, ready to spread her wings and chase her dreams, we knew that she would always carry with her the love, support, and guidance of her family. And as we watched her soar, we felt an overwhelming sense of pride and gratitude for the incredible blessing she had brought into our lives. As our daughter journeyed through adolescence and into her teenage years, we found ourselves navigating the challenges of parenthood with patience, understanding, and a whole lot of love. We faced the inevitable ups and downs of adolescence together, supporting our daughter as she navigated friendships, academic pressures, and the complexities of growing up in a rapidly changing world. Gustav and I made it a priority to create a home environment where our daughter felt safe, supported, and loved unconditionally. We encouraged open communication, actively listened to her thoughts and feelings, and provided guidance and reassurance whenever she needed it. Despite the inevitable bumps along the road, our family remained a source of strength and stability for our daughter. We celebrated her achievements, big and small, and offered comfort and encouragement during moments of disappointment or struggle. As she began to explore her identity and carve out her place in the world, we encouraged her to embrace her individuality, pursue her passions, and stay true to herself. We supported her interests, whether it was art, music, sports, or science, and encouraged her to follow her heart wherever it led. Throughout her teenage years, Gustav and I continued to prioritize quality time together as a family. We enjoyed regular family dinners, movie nights, and weekend outings, cherishing these moments of connection and togetherness. As parents, we faced our fair share of challenges and uncertainties, but we tackled them with love, patience, and unwavering support for our daughter. We learned and grew together as a family, navigating the ever-changing landscape of parenthood with grace and resilience. And as our daughter approached adulthood, ready to spread her wings and embark on her own journey, we felt an overwhelming sense of pride and gratitude for the remarkable young woman she had become. We knew that no matter where life took her, she would always carry with her the love, values, and lessons instilled in her by her family. As we looked towards the future, we felt optimistic and hopeful, knowing that our bond as a family would remain strong and unwavering, guiding us through whatever challenges and adventures lay ahead. And as we embraced the next chapter of our lives together, we did so with hearts full of love, gratitude, and excitement for the journey ahead.